from the basement of the beautiful Chrysler building in New York City, where Frank the maintenance guy said do not touch the orange pipes because those are the hot ones. This is the Scammies. I'm your host, Michael Robertson, and each episode we're trying to make you just a little bit smarter so you can spot the scams and the scammers and ultimately keep more of your own money. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about solar. And I've got some blunt comments. Chances are many people won't like what I have to say because solar is kind of like recycling. Everyone loves it, even when it makes no sense. So first, I need to prove to you that I don't hate solar. And I plan to do that by showing you the tiny house I'm building, which happens to be 100% solar powered. When I say I'm building, I mean that. With the help of my family, I've cut every board, pounded every nail, and driven every screw to transform a rusty old water storage tank into a circular tiny house. To understand what an undertaking this is, it's helpful to know that before this, my biggest home improvement project was swapping in LED bulbs. It's taken 2 years, probably 200 tutorials from YouTube University, and at least 40 trips to Home Depot, and it's still not done. But here's where it's at.
Here's our solar tiny tank house. Here's our solar panel, which generates our energy. Let's go take a look inside the tiny house. It's taken about 2 years to build because I'm learning as I go. As you can see, it has little wooden walls, curved wooden walls. There's light fixtures, and a sink. And this is a pump here. Here's the switches. It has 12 volt. Let a switch. Let's go upstairs. Switches. Here's the 12 volt switches. Here's a beautiful banister, all made from natural wood.
The tiny tank house is 100% solar powered, even the pumps for the water. I still marvel that sun rays can hit a sheet of silicon and out comes electricity. Humans are so ingenious. But as ingenious as photovoltaic solar is, it still has some serious limitations, which makes it impractical for rooftop solar to be a major contributor to our energy needs. First off, solar is a highly diluted form of energy, meaning there's only a tiny amount of energy in each ray of light. It's like trying to collect a mouthful of water by catching snowflakes. Well, maybe not snowflakes, but raindrops. Ever tried that? it's a lot of work for very little payoff. Each beam of light carries only a tiny amount of energy, and to make matters worse, 2/3 of the light spectrum bounces off or impedes the production of energy on solar panels, leaving only 1/3 to interact with silicon. This means the maximum efficiency is down to 33%, and that's the theoretical maximum. Most panels operate at about half that number, 18% new from the factory, and then decline over age. Fossil fuels, conversely, are energy dense. For example, just 3/4 of a cup of gasoline has enough energy to charge a smartphone every day for a year. The second limitation is the sun doesn't shine all the time, let alone at the same direction or intensity. Days are shorter in the winter, clouds may often block the sun, the angle and direction of the sun can dramatically reduce power generation. All this is a way of saying it's intermittent. Here's a helpful chart showing the average peak sun hours for the entire United States. The Southwest is best, but it's only at 6 hours per day, while the middle of the country is 33% less, and the Northeast is about half that, 3.5 hours per day. But the biggest problem is that the intermittence is not aligned with modern society's energy needs, which are constant and spiky. We need energy all the time, and at certain times, lots more energy, like in the morning and early evening or on cold winter days. With fossil fuels like natural gas, coal, oil, this isn't an issue because they have a near zero cost battery. A barrel of oil can be stored for about 5 cents and held until it's needed. To store the same amount of energy from solar in batteries would cost about $200 or a whopping 400 times more. Now, we're always hearing about batteries getting cheaper, but the difference is so enormous that a 10, 20, 30% improvement is largely immaterial. Energy systems are all about managing the peak times, just like the restaurant business, airline, or hotel business. This is easily achieved with oil and gas plants, which can in seconds ramp up production. Now, some have proposed a nationwide system of rooftop solar panels, but this would require an enormous amount of batteries, with the latest cost estimate of $2.5 trillion. Plus, we would need to spend another trillion or so on transmission lines, since our current system is more of a hub and spoke system and is not capable of having millions or tens of millions of energy suppliers from individual rooftop solar systems. And why is cheap energy so vital? It's because cheap energy is the cheat code for a luxurious and long human life. It's why we live how we do. Cheap energy means lower cost food, clothing, goods, healthcare. Cheap energy means being able to take that job that's further away to get the higher pay. It means being able to live further away from that big metro where you can buy a bigger house and have 2 more children. Cheap energy means affordable car rides and airplane flights to make regular visits with family or socialize with friends. Cheap energy is an essential ingredient for personal freedom and a richer life. Now, the elite dismiss the impact of $5, $7, $10 a gallon gas, likely because nothing in their lives will change. Maybe they can't remember getting just $10 or $20 worth of gas because you didn't have enough money to buy a full tank. Or maybe they've never had to deal with financial constraints. That's a polite way of saying being poor, where you have to decide to either fill the car's tank or take the family to dinner for little Johnny's birthday. In California, rooftop solar is now like a bumper sticker for your house. It signals to all your neighbors that you're a good person who cares about the environment. And it's easy to see the allure. The panels are quiet and innocuous. The materials required to construct them, the highly purified silicon, phosphorus, boron, titanium dioxide, cadmium telluride, copper, indium, gallium, selenide, are all mined in faraway locations where the massive pit mines, industrial refining, manufacturing, and associated pollution is out of sight and out of mind. Far enough away where the wind and water won't carry it to California, so Californians can pretend like it never happens. And California government welfare has made rooftop solar more popular by shifting the cost to others. Remember, the government makes nothing. So anytime you hear the government is giving out money, remember, it must first be taken from others. And with solar, it's a welfare program giving money to relatively richer homeowners and building owners. And the money's coming from non-homeowners and non-building owners. Now, there are smart uses of solar in places where power lines don't reach or where power needs are modest, like with LED lighting. That's why I installed it in my tiny house. But without an inexpensive mass storage system making solar energy available on demand, it's far too expensive and unreliable. It will cause outages and huge increase in the cost of energy, hurting the lives of real people. Well, that's this episode of the Scammies. Let me know what you think in the comments. And watch for the tiny tank house to appear on Airbnb soon. Now click that like button if you want to hear more Scammies episodes. And click that subscribe button to be the first to be notified of our upcoming award show. Thanks for watching.